Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by now. Here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. And yes, I am wearing my FSU colors today for those of you listening on the podcast. Yeah, I'm excited about Saturday. Saturday night, Miami's coming to town. I got 2 seats on the 50. Oh, I cannot wait. Thanks to my good friend, Jeff Italiano. Thank you, Jeff. We are excited, but we got much more to get to.
Have you given your prediction yet for that game?
Kind of.
Because if you have, I gave you mine.
What I'm going to do is tell you if I was betting, this is where I would go.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you, it will not come out of my mouth that Miami's going to win this game. Now, I may analyze it for you.
Okay.
That they have the edge. But
for those of you that missed it when I did it very subtly towards the end of the show yesterday, here's my prediction.
Yes. What the hell? That ain't happening. Hell to the no. Like when we beat them 46-3 a couple of years ago. Yeah. No, that's not happening.
Oh, I thought maybe you were saying FSU couldn't get to 13.
No. It's like last week where I told you that, the Eagles were probably going to win, but I'm not going to officially pick them because it makes me feel dirty.
Yeah.
I'll be in a very similar situation.
Try wearing Eagles green on a Friday before.
Well, there you go. That was your fault. That was your fault. All right, welcome into the show. We got a hell of a show today, man. We got a hell of a show. William Floyd, who is the radio analyst for Florida State and, more importantly, played in a lot of these FSU-Miami games, some huge ones, is going to join us at 10:30 on his way up to Tallahassee, and he's always fun to chat with. I love bar none, as we call him. Guy won a national championship at FSU in 93, was a first-round pick of the 49ers, and then won a Super Bowl. That's pretty good, right? Great dude. Can't wait to chat with him. And then Joey Johnston, sideline reporter for USF, is going to join us at 10:50, and we're going to talk about the USF Charlotte game coming up Friday night. Big game for USF in terms of, take care of business, run it up, get some eyes on you, and move forward into conference play as they open up conference play. Doug Waechter, Rays analyst, former Rays pitcher, is going to join us at 11:15, and we're going to talk about all the things going on with the Rays, the bright future with the new ownership group, what they need to do in this offseason to get back into the postseason. And Dougie's going up to the FSU-Miami game. His son is betrothed to FSU, but also looks like Caden, his son, is an amazing pitcher. Probably will go high in the draft, and if he does, he'll probably sign. But we'll talk to him about that. And then Josh Queipo will join us for his weekly film study breakdown of the Buccaneers. We did that yesterday, and it's really, really good. Some very enlightening stuff from Josh Queipo. So we've got a packed show, so let's get right into it, shall we, my friend? And away we go.
I'm going to try to keep us on time today, guys. So we don't have time for any of your silly comments.
Yeah,
we got a clock today.
Yeah. Well, if you have some, we'll see. We'll see if we can get it. But you better be good. You better bring it this morning. Better bring it.
No tomfoolery today.
No tomfoolery. All right, so let's get to it. I was over Bucs yesterday, and a lot of things happened yesterday. First of all, Skip Pete, running backs coach, collapsed during practice, had to bring in the ambulances and all that. Scary, scary situation. Baker talked about it. Todd talked about it afterwards. When those things happen, you don't know what's happening in the moment, right? It can be really, really scary. They got him to the hospital. He's in stable condition. We're here. He's doing well. He was awake before he left, so on the ambulance. So prayers out to Skip Pete and his family, but it looks like he's going to be fine. It was dehydration or something, but they'll do some tests and hopefully everything will be fine with Skip Pete. So Bucky maybe he collapsed because he saw Bucky in a boot, in a walking boot, and I want to make jokes. He's fine. All right. So, but Bucky's in a boot and he's crutches, we talked about this yesterday a little bit. Sprained foot, sprained ankle, whatever it is. I think it happened on that fumble. If you go look at that, his ankle just gets and knee kind of gets bent underneath the tackler. Is probably why he gave up the ball on that one, because he's in excruciating pain. But he came right back and scored a 70-yard touchdown. So he after the game, obviously these things swell up, and he's not ruled out this week. He's not ruled out, but it's I think it's going to be a tough slog for him to get back. So, and to me, that's fine. We've got depth at that position. Rashad White, Sean Tucker, we're fine. That's a situation that if I'm the Buccaneers and it looks like he's kind of iffy or 60, 70%, I'd leave him home. Don't put him on the flight where the swelling can get worse. It's 6 hour flight there. He's walking around doing all the things going to the game. I'd just leave him at home and get him rested up. Of course, I don't know what the severity of it is. I mean, if he can play, because they put guys in walking boots now and then they play that week. It's the old days we see somebody in a walking boot and we're like, oh my God, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. No. So it's just precautionary. So we don't know exactly how serious it is, but just by looking at, and he did finish the game. So they know what the severity is. And I trust this training staff, but the point is, I mean, this injury report is ridiculous. It's, and they had so many injuries yesterday that they did a walkthrough because Todd Bowles literally said that we have more players that couldn't practice than could practice. So they weren't going to go full speed because what's the point? And they feel a lot of these guys will be able to come back for the game. At least we hope so. I mean, wow. I'm looking at this injury report right now. Oh, wow. Jamel Dean.
You want to see it on the screen? Because
sure, why not?
It's going to look crazy for everybody.
Yeah. Whoa.
That is the whole injury report.
Is that the injury report or the roster?
For yesterday, yeah.
It's the roster, it looks like. The entire roster. Jamel Dean has a hip. Mike Evans, hamstring, will not play. Greg Gaines, pectoral, probably won't play. Bucky Irving, foot, shoulder. We'll see. Christian Izien, quad. He practiced a little bit last week, but wasn't able to go. Baker Mayfield has a right knee and a biceps. Benjamin Morrison, hamstring. Sterling Shepard, foot. Tyke Smith, foot. Tyke, ankle. Levante David, knee, was limited. Logan Hall, groin, limited. Hassan Reddick, neck, limited. Tristan Wirfs, knee, limited. Godwin, ankle, full. Charlie Heck, knee, full. Zion McCollum, thumb, full. And Seattle has 5 guys, 4 who did not practice. Josh Jones, tackle DeMarcus Lawrence, that's a big one. Julian Love, hamstring, and Devin Witherspoon. I mean, yeah, are you kidding me? So they're going out to Seattle to play a really, really good Seattle team that is 3-1. They lost to San Francisco 17-13.
In a game they should have won.
The game they should have won, absolutely. But that's really the best team that they've played so far, I think. And they beat Arizona last Thursday, 23-20. So they've had 10 days to heal up, by the way.
Yeah.
So they beat Arizona.
An overtime game, yeah.
A middling Arizona team, I think is fair to say.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of the Saints, 44-16. And they beat Pittsburgh on the road, 31-17. That was a good win. I think that was a pretty good win. So I don't know how good Seattle is yet, to be quite honest, but Darnold's playing at a high level, 70% completions, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions so far. Jackson Smith and Jigba's having a hell of a year. He's led them in receiving every game, 26 catches, 402 yards, just 1 touchdown though. Cooper Kupp, they've got him now. Kenneth Walker's having a really good year. Actually kind of up and down. He said he's on my fantasy team, so I know. Had a big game, but it's been, kind of erratic, but he can run.
They've got a really good 1-2 punch on the ground, just like the Bucs do with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. Yeah, they're the equivalent of Bucky and Rashad.
Charbonnet? I prefer a nice Pinot Grigio myself.
I like Merlot.
Yeah. So this Mike McDonald defense is good. They're stout up front with Lawrence and Byron Murphy. They're good up front, and they've got 7 picks already. Yeah. 7 interceptions. That's all. That's as many as the Bucs had last year.
A Mike McDonald team right there.
Yeah,
man.
I mean they turned the ball over. They stopped the run well, and with the Bucs struggling up front and the offensive line, I think this is going to be kind of a very low-scoring game. I think the Bucs defense is going to play well. I think it's going to play really well if they can get their corners back. If Benjamin Morrison can't play and Izien can't play and Jamel Dean can't play. All right, now suddenly we're really thin. Now we still have, you can move Tyke Smith down into the nickel, and they play a lot of 2 tight end packages. So you might not need as many corners as you normally would, but Jacob Parrish obviously is Ian McCullum. So you've got 3 really, really good corners you can use in those spots. But behind that, you're thin. You're really thin. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game. The offensive line is clearly the key, but for the first time this year, the Bucs will be starting an offensive line in the same spots that they started the week before. So they'll start to get a little bit of continuity. They'll get better from what they learned against the Eagles. Graham Barton was not very good. He got beat a lot on the twist and the stunts. Josh Queipo talked a lot about that. We'll have that at the end of the show for you. So more on that to come on the offensive line. So look, the Bucs will have to try to run the football and establish the run. Hopefully, hit some big plays, and they got to get some turnovers on defense. Sam Darnold, when he's played quality competition, will give you a shot. He'll throw you a few. There's no question about that. So you got to catch them, and you got to turn them into points. So if the Bucs are going to go to Seattle and win, they're 3-point underdogs in a game that's 44.5. So I think they expect a low-scoring game, Vegas does, and I do too. So when you have a low-scoring game, you've got to make the most of your possessions. Field goals are huge. Chase has been really good. So make your field goals. Don't turn the ball over. Get some turnovers. And you're not going to just win on explosives in this game. You're just not. So it's going to be a slog, and it's going to be a physical game. Now, are the Bucs going to win it? Listen, I think injuries are too many. I think this team is ridiculously beat up. Seattle's playing at home. They're fresher coming off the 10-day rest. The crowd is going to be hugely in their favor. That 12th man is the 12th man, and this is a tough one for the Bucs. If I got to pick it, I'm gonna pick the Seahawks, kind of like I did last week with the Eagles. But I won't feel as dirty. I don't feel as dirty as picking.
As the Eagles.
But, yeah, I think this is a tough one for the Buccaneers. What are your thoughts, Timmy?
Yeah, it's all the injuries, right? It all comes down to the injuries. If these teams are both healthy, full strength, this is a Bucs win, and it's not close. I think, even on the road, even on the West Coast. But man, and it's not just the number of injuries; it's who they're to, and they're at positions where you don't have a lot of depth, and especially the offensive line. You're out Mike Evans. To me, your second best offensive player on the team, and it just throws a wrench in the whole thing. And this is something that it looks like we're going to be dealing with for the next month from game to game here with some of these guys. So while you're getting some guys back, you're losing more. So it's a bad time for the Bucs right now. If they can go in and look, we talked about Seattle. We don't know how good they are. Even at the strength they're at, they've got some injuries too, but we don't know how good they are. They're sort of up and down here to start the season. But you have to go in and you kind of got to, I think, get on them often and early. Get to Darnold often and early if you can get any kind of pass rush, and hope that they don't just run the ball down your throat. Keep them to under 100 yards.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Elijah Simmons and the guys the young guys that played last week, they're picking it up. I like these young tackles. Kalijah Cansey obviously being out, it really hurts you. But these young guys have picked it up inside. I like what I'm seeing. The linebackers have been good against the run, not so good against the pass. And they're going to continue to get picked on until they fix that. No question about it. But I thought the defense played spectacular in the second half against Philly. So look, there's a lot of pluses here, but in the whole, Bucs fans, let's get this team healed up. This is going to be a tough stretch. As I said yesterday, this is going to be a little bit of a tough stretch, but get through it. Maybe 500 ball. If you can get to, the bye week where we have 8 games before the bye week, I think it's 8 or 9. You get to 5-4. That's fine. That's fine. Because then you got at the end of the game and end of the season, you got a nice run where you can win a lot of games, and you're getting healthy. You get Mike back, you get J Mac back, you get Gedeke back. You're kind of good to go. So this is going to be a rough stretch. If you could steal one here in Seattle, woo, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can get the 4-1 and you got this stretch coming up. Doesn't mean you're going to lose those games. We're not capitulating. And it just is what it is. This is a team that's really, really beat up, and they need to get healthy. And going out and playing games every week with guys that are 50, 60% is not going to get you healthier. Some of these guys just need to sit and get ready, and the backups got to step up and play. Simple as that. It happens every week in the NFL. These are professional players. You got to step up and play. Go win a football game with not at your best. It happens every week. So I think that's where the Bucs are at right now.
Yep.
All right, moving on. And by the way, I see in the comments a lot of you guys are talking about the injuries. Can you limit injuries? I'm going to just say this. September is now the preseason, and there's no physicality in training camp, very little. There's no physicality during the week of practice. And then you go out on Sunday and you're going full force and you're slamming into each other. I just don't think these guys are used to it like they used to be. And it takes a toll on the body. Plus, bigger, faster, stronger. That's a real thing. More turf, more artificial turf. I don't think that helps injuries at all, just across the league. So I think this is just part of it. And you can't, and there's nothing, I don't think the Bucs are doing anything wrong. I don't think the players are soft. I don't think any of that. I think it's just like, it's kind of like baseball pitchers. We don't build them up anymore, so they get injured more. These football players just are not used to all the contact. Back in the day, they probably had more contact and got used to it. This is just a theory of mine.
Yeah. Don't forget how much softer the offseason is now for these guys. I mean, when I say soft, I mean that in every aspect of the word when you compare it to 15, 20, 30 years ago, what these guys had to go through in the offseason. And it does not prepare your body properly, even the preseason. These guys aren't going in the preseason. And it does not prepare your body properly for what you get in September, October, November, and December.
Yeah.
And it's causing injuries.
Yeah. And as some of you were saying here, special teams. Yes, we got to be better. We cannot have another kick blocked. And I think John Hill asked about the punting situation. Bowles was asked about that yesterday. He said basically it's status quo. They brought some people in, and I think they're going to give Riley one more game. And he also said, listen, it's on the protection as well. Doesn't matter who's punting back there. If you're blowing your blocking assignments and you got free runners right up the middle, it's going to get blocked. So they got to fix those things in special teams, and hopefully that will get that done. All right, we're going to talk Florida State Miami with William Floyd, so I'm going to skip that for right now. Joey Johnston will hit the USF in Charlotte on that as well. Big game for USF, and I'd like to see a nice crowd there on a Friday night. If you got a high school football game that you're betrothed to, obviously that takes precedent. But if you don't, you're a college football fan, let's get out and support the Bulls this weekend. So the Gators are welcoming in your Texas Longhorns, Timmy.
Yep.
I know how much you love the Longhorns. Horns down. Are we going to get fined for them?
No, we're not in the Big 12.
So, I mean, this is obviously a huge game for Billy Napier. Is now 20-22 in his tenure. He's also 4-16 against ranked competition. That's not good, and I ain't going to get her done. The Gators come in 1-3, first time since that's their worst record since 1986. That's how old this shirt is. I think I had this shirt in college, 1986 when I graduated. Well, that's the last time Florida was 1-3. Yeah. That's not good. This is a Gator team though that is way better than they've played. They're way better offensively. I think Lagway, who I heard has changed his motion in the offseason, his throwing motion. Clearly, that's not working for him. He's uncomfortable in it. If I get trying to clean up a player's mechanics, totally. But if you only had 12 days before the season for him to practice and no offseason at all, he's had hardly any reps with this new cleaned up mechanics. And you need tons of reps. You've thrown the ball a certain way your entire life. And suddenly we're going to change that. And that's okay because you see this all the time. Kids come in into college especially, and they're just kind of awkward. They need to clean up their mechanics. But you need a lot of work. That takes a lot of reps. And he hasn't had any reps to do it. Right. Therefore, he looks completely discombobulated. He's totally inaccurate. He's not confident. And it shows. I mean, 61 yards passing against Miami. Their third down percentage is horrific, one of the worst in the league. And you're going up against a Texas defense now that's allowing an average of 211 yards per game. Yikes. They don't let you run the football. They're huge up front. Now, if the Gators are going to win this game, they got to run the football. And they got Jaden Ball, and they've got a good stable of backs behind a really good offensive line that they need to use and lean on. Typically, I saw this number. Napier's typically run the ball at a 55% clip in his career. This year, he's running it 43%. So he's leaning more on Lagway and less on the run game? That makes no sense whatsoever. So the Gators got a lot of stuff to clean up. Now, the other part about this, Texas's offense has not been great against real competition. No. And Arch on the road at Ohio State, we saw that. That was a debacle. That was ugly. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Now, he's cleaned it up a little bit and got more confident. And Sarkisian, talked to Arch and said, hey, stop pressing. But playing Sam Houston State at home, whatever. Playing the Gators in the swamp when they're this desperate with a week off, that ain't going to be a picnic for Arch Manning. So I think, again, another really low-scoring game here where turnovers are going to be huge. And can Arch throw you a few against this really good Gator defense? Hell yeah. Catch them. Get you pick six. Scoop and score. They can, and listen, I've seen like average Gator teams, and we saw it last year at the end of last year when they beat LSU and Ole Miss back-to-back there. It's a 3:30 game. It's going to be hot as hell. Not that Texas isn't used to that, but that is an oppressive place. When it's that loud, 91,000 people, it's hot as hell, it's oppressive. And the Gators got to lean on that defensively, rattle Arch, get a couple of picks, and they can win this game defensively. And offensively, they've got to show more. I mean, clearly, Lagway has got to be better. He's got lots of weapons with Trey Wilson, and he's got some weapons, but they've got to figure it out. They got to get him some easy throws early on, get some completions, bootlegs, et cetera, and get a little something going. And then let the defense take over, let the crowd get into it, and then, I think you got a chance against Texas. How do you see this one, Timmy?
So the Longhorns offense is abysmal against real competition. And I said this on my Pigskin and Burn-Ins college football podcast, by the way, over at fanstreamsports.com. And
great podcast.
On the College Gridiron Coast to Coast Network. Thank you, TJ Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
The Longhorns, I'm going to call them T-sips, in case y'all don't know what that means. Longhorns fans are T-sips, okay, with the pinky in the air. That's what we call them as Aggies.
Says an Aggie.
They are coming off a 55-0 drubbing of Sam Houston State in their last game before the bye week. And that was the game, if you probably saw the replays maybe on TV, of Arch Manning running in for the touchdown and then standing over the guy and flexing as he's laying on the ground. By the way, should have been a flag, and they would have called back the touchdown for that. That's what they do in college football, but they didn't do it. Arch said his mom yelled at him for that, and rightfully so. But now everybody's proclaiming, Arch is back, baby. Arch is back. Just look at that game against Sam Houston State.
Come on.
So, look, Arch is not back, and for him to have been back, he has to have been gone and there before. He's never been there yet. And, guys, look, I'm a Manning fan. I love the Mannings. I named a kid Eli because my wife at the time would not let me name him Archie. All right? So, that is not a joke. That is a fact, sir. So, and I wasn't going to go with Peyton because I still think that's a chick's name.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
But, dude, they haven't played well against anybody. Arch has struggled going back 2 preseasons ago or 2 off seasons ago. There were rumors coming out of Austin when he was still behind Ewers that he's not really grasping the offense and he's not getting things like he should, like Sark thought he would. Mm-hmm. Now he's being thrust into the starting job. He still does not have an actual grasp of his offense. The only thing he's got going for him is he can run. When he runs well. But against a defense like Florida, I don't know that he's going to be able to do that. Now, they've got a great ground game outside of Arch. They've got some great receivers, but Arch has to be able to get the ball. So if you rattle Arch early in this game at all, pressure him at all, you're going to throw him into a tizzy. And this could be a cakewalk for the Gators.
I don't know about cakewalk, but Texas is favored by 6.5 in this game. I think that's too much. The over-under is 41.5, so it's going to be low-scoring game. I'm with you. If I had to bet it, I'm not going to bet this one because the Gators could completely collapse offensively. They've showed no signs of any life. You would think at 2 weeks that they'd get a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, William Floyd is going to join us, bar none, Florida State radio analyst, and, of course, a national champion at Florida State fullback. We will chat with him about this incredible rivalry that he played in, and now we'll be calling FSU Miami, and we will we'll talk about all things what's going to be going on at Doak Campbell Stadium. Doug Waechter coming up, Joey Johnston coming up, Josh Queipo, lots more coming your way. Thank you guys for joining us here. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to their website and you can get a free case consultation. Either email them or call them. They're local, they are trusted, and they get results. Not attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And the great folks at Genesis of Tampa, big grand opening this weekend coming up on Saturday. Lots of autographs and picture taking with all the USF players. Will be coming off a big win over Charlotte. Will be there. Mac Harris will be there. Grammatico will be there. Nimrod will be there. Mac Grothy's going to be there. Leroy Selman Jr. Big day Saturday at Genesis of Tampa. Yeah, 275 and Nebraska. Go join them there. Watch football all day. They got food. They got drinks. It's going to be a party on Saturday. You can go by on Friday as well, and Sunday. They got all kinds of stuff going on this weekend. Genesis of Tampa right there on Bears and just off of 275. Back in 3 with William Floyd. Stay with us. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience Advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park. So free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Riveters, the official watch party place for your Tampa Gator Club. So if you're going to go watch the game on Saturday at 3:30, you got to go to Riveters. That's where the official Tampa Gator Club watches the game. Great food, great staff, great beer. Get the hazy IPA, which is fantastic. Me and Orestes were over there the other day, had our burgers and fries, and it's just amazing. The food is tremendous. The staff is great. It's Riveters Tampa, right there on Dale Mabry, 275.
I can't believe you just even mentioned the Florida Gators with who we've got on the phone right now.
I'm just getting them all frothed up. I know
man.
now he's sitting in his car. Yeah, same.
The only thing I heard was hazy IPA, so I'm heading to Rivers.
Exactly. My man, William Floyd, who loves a great hazy IPA, and they got a good one at Rivers. Hey, Seminole fans are welcome there too, bro. Always welcome there. The Gator Club just has to pay money to go there. So I'm teasing. How are you, partner?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Heading to town, getting ready for this game. How you doing?
Man, I'll be heading up tomorrow morning, and there's something, I don't know about you, partner, but I'm older than dirt, and I still get chills when I get on that, when I get on I-10 and I start heading to Tallahassee and the road starts getting bumpy, the hills. I'm getting goosebumps right now. It never stops.
It started for me, I guess, right before the Virginia game. Of course, that's when I started hearing from all the Miami guys, and I'm like, "Hey, dudes, I'll talk to you next week." But I got my, my hundo, my gentleman's hundo with Lamar Thomas. Warren Sapp ain't really wanting to put no money down on it, but he thinks they're going to win. Melvin Bratton, all those old school guys. I'm getting a lot of talk from them, but it's all good. At the end of the day, you know how this is. Guys have been playing against each other ever since they were in Pop Warner. Going through high school. Now they're doing it in college, and you can throw the records out of the window. It's going to be one of those old school backyard brawls. And it reminds me of back in the day when I played, and the national championship came through the state of Florida. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a picture of you right in your national championship Orange Bowl uniform right now, in that 44 in the white, putting your hands up after you scored that touchdown in the Orange Bowl, by the way. Yeah, that's right. There we go. Yeah. That was kind of sweet, winning that national championship on the Hurricanes home turf right there at the Orange Bowl, right?
Yeah, man, that field right there. Finally, a kick finally worked out for me on that field. We had the wide rice, and then, Nebraska makes it dramatic right at the end. They drive, get down in field goal position, and they pull that thing wide left. I always say little buddy Clifton Abraham got a fingernail on that ball because of the trajectory on that ball kind of took a little bit of a left, like a little draw in there right at the end to pull that thing left. So I think that Cliff, he always says he got a finger on it, but I have to go back and look at it.
Let's get, at this point, let's say yes. We love it. Whatever it takes. Because I remember Coach Bowden always used to said, about those field goals. It's like, it ain't like they blocked them. We just missed them. Right. They didn't block them. We missed them.
That's right.
So, yeah. No, but anyway, and that has kind of defined this Florida State Miami series, because of the heartbreaks. And most of those games, what we forget is Florida State outplayed Miami in those games and deserved to win those games. But you got to finish. And then the scoreboard is the scoreboard. I ain't gonna bitch about it. We've had our victories over Miami. What are your recollections of the wins over Miami and how hard fought those games were when you played in those games?
Well, like I said, man, it was a crescendo for us because it just kept leading up to that 93 game in Tallahassee. You know, we had the first wide right in Tallahassee, 91, go down there to Miami, 92, had a second wide right. And it was like, Coach Bowden, whatever you do, if we get another opportunity, do not kick that ball from the left hash with a right-footed kicker. We just are not successful at getting that done. We got to have that kick on the right hash. So if you remember the national championship game, we kicked that last field goal from the right hash to a right-footed kicker. So we finally got smart about that. But my recollection is, you know, it just builds up to that 93 game, those two heartbreaks. And 93, we saying, man, it is not coming down to a field goal this game. It doesn't matter what happened, fellas. We going out here and we taking care of business. It will not be put on Scott Bentley to win this football game. That's the mentality that we went in with. We listened to in the heat of the night the entire week. You know, but Phil Collins song that started playing that Sunday night all the way through, and that became like our season war cry, war chant, song, for the season. But it started at Miami game. Phil Collins in the heat of the night getting it done that game.
28-10 was the final. It was an ass kicking, and I remember it. It's going to be Saturday night. Listen, and I'm going to say this bar none. I think we're going to need a little bit of Saturday night magic at Doak Campbell Stadium. We're going to need the fans to be in full throat. This is a really, really good Miami team. They're great up front. They can run the football. I'm a little concerned that they might be able to run it well against Florida State. So we need some magic, and that's what this home field is all about. It's going to be loud. I'll be part of it right there at the 50-yard line. How do you see this game playing out, especially up front?
Well, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. We have to win the battles on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, more so defense. I mean, you could have never told me that we scored 38 points in the game and not win.
Yep.
And that's what kind of went down last week, So, and a lot of that has to go on the defense. I mean, they gave up 46 points. So, and a lot of it was the run. They had like 3 12-plus play drives where Virginia just masters. So they have to get their mind right, their mentality right, because Miami's going to come in with the same thing. And if they're successful running the football, that play action pass across the field or those crosses or sitting down in the zone, all that stuff is going to work if you can't stop the run. And we couldn't stop it last week. So that has to be the first thing. Go out there, stop the run. On the other side, I think we can score with anybody. I mean, we proved we took it right down to the wire. We can put up points. But, like Coach Bowden always said, man, if they don't score, they can't win. And that's the mentality you got to have Saturday.
Well, so what adjustments do you see made defensively on Tony White got to make for this game? Or is it just, to your point, it's a matter of mentality when it comes to stopping the run?
Well, I think we have to give ourselves a little bit better chance to win against the run. Like I saw a lot of 5-man front, and, we still kind of play defense the same way when they're running the ball. Man, you got to crowd that box. And my thing is crowd that box like Florida did and force, Carson Beck to have to throw that ball to win the game. If you look at that game, that Florida game, they took the ball out of his hands at the end of the second half. Like in those last 2 drives, they did not let him put the ball in the air because they were running the ball so effectively. And then if you saw when he threw that interception, you can see in his eyes like something kind of changed. Like, okay, these guys are playing some good defense, and that's why, the knock on him in Florida was he wasn't able to get the ball downfield. Now, he's been able to have some high, I think he's over, 75, 80%, something like that, as far as completions. The short passes, those are like intermediate passes, nothing where he has to go down the field and throw a position pass to make the play. So my thing is force Carson Beck to beat him beat us with his arm and stack the line of scrimmage. If he gets it done with his arm, then hey, touche.
Okay.
He got it done on us. But other than that, force him to win the game. Do not let them run the ball.
Timmy, you want to get in here?
Man, I don't have anything to say to him. I'm in awe here. We even got him on the phone. I will ask you this, as a college football fan, going into a rivalry game like this, how much do you have to temper emotions in order to stick with your physical ability and really adhere to a game plan from the coaching staff and do what you're supposed to do rather than more like what you want to do in games like this?
I think that for a coach is the most important thing or the hardest thing to do in a rivalry game or rivalry week practice. If you look at even last week in that game, Earl Little gets in a little scuffle at the bottom of the pile, is third and forever, and we give them a first down on that play. They go down and score. That's what you have to be thinking, man. You can't be selfish and hurt the team because you want to do some under the pile pushing and shoving. No, man, they're going to see that. We're playing on the road. I mean, you're going to get called for that. And you can plan it, like I said, you've been playing against guys you've known your whole life. They know how to push your trigger. You know how to push their trigger. So this is where being mature, having a mature football team, I think whoever has the most mature football team definitely has an opportunity to get it done this weekend. If you're out there pushing and fighting and worrying about what the other guy said or what the other guy did, you're not focused on the next play. So you're not going to win the next play. And football is, you got to win the play. Whoever wins the most plays wins the game. So that's how you have to look at it. Nice. Just look at it like that. So, yeah, that's a great question right there. I think, like, the main thing is to make sure that you don't hurt your team with penalties, stupid penalties out there because you're trying to wrestle and mouth wrestle a guy or push a guy around. I think that'll be huge.
Great point. Yeah, there'll be a couple, and there Miami will do that too. Maybe you throw out the bait. You ever done that? A guy's a hothead. You throw out the bait a little bit in a rivalry game.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Give him a little elbow. Right as that whistle blow. Give him a little elbow to the ribs. Like a little push, a little shoulder push. Or, hey, I'm coming after you next play. Like whose button to push. And I'm telling you, Earl Little, they're going to come after him. They're going to try to push his button because he's proved that he's that type of player that he'll retaliate. Now he has to, and the scouts are looking at that. So that's another thing that he has to be concerned about. Like, man, they don't want a guy on the field that's going to hurt the football team. Like I said, you got a team 3rd and 15. They're going to have to kick the ball, punt the ball to you. And the next thing you know, you're giving them a first down for something that's for free. I call that free yardage. Don't ever give up free yardage.
Hey, one last question. Do you have any really one good FSU Miami story, like with Sapp or any of the other big names that have come in?
Oh, yeah, man, I got a great one because this is a funny one because the guy that remembers this the most, because I forgot about it, is Joey Johnston, The Rock.
Yeah. Oh, The Rock.
I see him at a wrestling. Yeah, so I see him at a wrestling deal. I'll take my son. This is probably about 10 years ago or so. 15 before it became the big Rock new movie star. He's still wrestling, but we go in there and I got to take my son in the back to see him and meet all the guys and whatnot. He was like, "Oh, so yeah, William, you remember that night that we were talking trash on the phone." So basically, what I was telling you about in the heat of the night, that song when we started playing Phil Collins, it was after the conversation we had with those guys. That was back in the day when you actually had to talk on the phone to a guy. You couldn't text and send all that stuff. You had to actually dial the rotor or punch the buttons to call the guy. So I don't know if they called us or we called them, but it was like myself, Todd McIntosh, Devin Bush, Derek Brooks, Corey Sawyer, Clifton Abraham. It's like 6 of us, and it's like who was on that team? That he was like oh man, it was Brohan Marley, Sapp, Dwayne Johnson. Think even doggone Costa even came by and said a couple of words, but it was like guys like they're top guys too.
Yeah.
So we going back and forth on the phone, like, I'm gonna do this to you, I'm gonna do this to you, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. So we just riding out on each other. But it's great that we laugh and talk about that now, because even talking to Rohan Marley, everybody remembers that night, talking trash to each other and then coming out and playing that game. So that was a good story right there as far as the Miami, Florida State rivalry.
Man.
It's
the names.
It's a different love.
Just the names alone, man. God, that's what this series is all about. Some of the greatest players in football history, not just college, but football history. And that's what makes it so great. And there's going to be a lot of talent on that field on Saturday night. I cannot wait, bar none. Enjoy the golf tomorrow at the Legacy. Yes. I'll definitely catch up with you this weekend for sure, partner.
Always good talking to you, JP. Take care, fellas. God bless and go Noles.
God bless. Go Noles. Drive safe. Go Noles. Go Noles. Man, this just brings back so many memories. There he is. Bar none, man. There he is. I might be in that scrum. Am I in that scrum?
Probably in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably in there somewhere.
It's like your kneecap over there to the top right.
Yeah. All right, great stuff as we get you set for FSU Miami. All right, quick break. When we come back, it ain't a rivalry game. It's not the big one on the national docket, but this is a big game for USF. They got to get the conference schedule going and get a big win over Charlotte and keep it rolling. So we'll talk to Joey Johnston coming up next. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Folks, if you're looking to pop the question this Christmas, you got to go ring shopping. You go to the Gold and Diamond Source. You walk in, and you tell them, hey, we're here to buy an engagement ring. And JP sent us, first and foremost. And he told me, well, you have the best staff and the great selection, the best prices, and you're not going to try to upsell me. Here's my budget. And they'll take it right from there. They'll make you feel right at home, like you're part of the family, because it is a family business. It's a family business. The Weintraub's there, Julie and Steve Weintraub, and they're going to treat you like family, and you're going to come back time and time again. You could bring your ring back, too, to get full value for it when you upgrade, 10, 15 years later. You want to renew your vows, bring it back. They'll give you full price for what you paid, which is ridiculous, and you can get a new one. So it's the Gold and Diamond Source, a great, great local company, does so much in the community as well. Great philanthropist. So go see him at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, just across the bridge if you're coming from Tampa, about 15, 20 minutes. Back in 3 with Joey Johnston. Stay with us. The Gold and Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Gold and Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Gold and Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Gold and Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing, American Standard Air Conditioning and Heating, the dynamic duo that will get you feeling cool in these hot temperatures. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. They also do AC in conjunction with American Standard Heating and Cooling, your dynamic duo to take care of your HVAC needs. All right, let's talk some USF football with our good friend Joey Johnston, sideline reporter, and also author extraordinaire, longtime Tampa Tribune writer as well, who joins us now.
I'm working on it.
We're working on it. Working on
it. Hang on.
I see him. down there.
Some issues with your camera. Hang on.
Blame it on me. Why
There we go.
There he is. What's up? How are you, Joey? When he just went out.
That's him. That wasn't us.
Oh, okay. We're waiting for his connection to come back. Maybe go out and come back in, Joey. USF playing on Friday night, 7 o'clock, ESPN 2, taking on Charlotte. It is their first conference game of the year in the American. Don't call it the AAC. It's the American now.
Yep.
And they have played Charlotte a couple times and boat raced them by an average of 34.5 points, scoring 48 or more points and accumulating more than 500 yards of offense in each game. Last year, they won at Charlotte 59-24. So it's a game that you should win. It's a game you should run up some points and get a little bit more national recognition, maybe pop back in the top 25 where they should be anyway, as I tap dance here to see if we can get Joey back.
Yeah, I don't know if he can hear us or not.
All right, I'll text him.
Yeah, I want you to text him, let him know to pop out and pop back in.
Yeah. We'll see
Speaking of the top 25.
Yeah. Yes. All right. I don't know if he can hear us or not. All right. I will text him.
Producing on the air. It's the greatness of a live show, boys and girls. What you get
Yes. By the way, I'll tell you, our USF report brought to you by Genesis of Tampa, and they will be hosting a lot of USF players on Saturday for an autograph signing. It's a true NIL deal. And there you go, Genesis of Tampa supporting your USF Bulls with real NIL money. So they'll be signing autographs from 2 to 4. Nico Grammatica, Matt Harris, the linebacker, and Chase Nimron will all be there at Genesis of Tampa from 2 to 4 o'clock. I think Matt Grothy's going to be there earlier, former quarterback, beloved quarterback here at USF, and Leroy Selma Jr., also former USF football player.
That's a huge lineup, man.
That's
I got to get over there.
Lineup. Genesis of Tampa, which is just off of Nebraska and Bears, just off of 275. Very easy to get to. So as we await.
Yep. Waiting the arrival of Joey Johnston.
Nope, popping back in. All right, we'll try this again. One more time. Joey, can you hear me?
Hey, I can. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great technology sometimes, right? We
should
get this right. How you doing, partner?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good. Really enjoyed your piece on Rob Higgins and Tampa Sports Commission and all the things that he has done there. That was I found that on Facebook. I don't know where else it is. I'm going to repost it later on. That was really well done and voluminous, I might add.
Yeah, you can say that again.
When's the second book come about?
Yeah, it was lengthy. But the one thing when you write something, the one thing you don't want people to say is, "Man, that thing was long," which it was, no question. But you wanted to have some flow and you wanted it to be enjoyable.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, but it definitely was long because if you try to incorporate all the people that need to speak on Rob, it's going to be long. That's just the way it is. It's pretty much everyone in town.
That's the beauty of modern day media too. Back in the day, you wouldn't have been able to write something like that.
Have no prayer to get that in the newspaper. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So
it's worth the time. It's worth the read, every bit of it. Yeah.
But it was really fun. It's like you write a long thing, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, that's like that killed me. But this was so much fun to do because talking to all the people, they all had wonderful things to say about Rob and their experiences with Rob. So it was a joy to interview them and put this all together.
Well, he's kind of your boss now at USF as the CEO of athletics. So, I mean, what you've seen USF for the years. You have the great perspective of having covered it and seen the ebbs and flows of their athletic department. And what do you think? Like, what can Rob bring to this that can kind of put USF over the top and make them a priority in this town?
I think Rob will be the guy that will position USF properly in this marketplace, which has always been a bit of a struggle over the years in a professional town for USF to maximize its resources. And speaking of resources, I think Rob will do a great job of finding more resources to fund.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Lost him again.
Internet Wi-Fi.
Waiting patiently to see if he reappears magically.
Oh, he's gone.
Did not. Maybe he'll come back.
Yep, I'm sure he hung up, and he's probably going to pop right back in.
All right, we'll try it. We'll wait patiently for that.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is. You're back.
Sorry about
You're
that.
back. That's okay.
Yeah.
So as we were talking, Rob is the man to get this done. And listen, the stadium, obviously, it's been funded, but you got to build it. It's not easy. So he's got to, and while he does all this other stuff, he's got to kind of shepherd that as well, right?
Yeah, he does. That's well underway, and he just has to bring it to the finish line. And I think it's more of an overseeing kind of thing. Most of the heavy lifting has been done. The plans have been made. So it's just a matter of shepherding it through. Obviously, you want as many people giving resources to the project as you can, so he can probably help with that. And there's going to be people that want these premium seats, and Rob will find those people and maximize that. So I think all of that will just be enhanced. Again, it's as Rob said in his press conference, the potential word has been used forever, for decades now with USF athletics, and but Rob will find a way to make that potential into reality, I think.
Yeah. Now the new P word is production, right?
Yes.
Get it done.
Yes.
Get it done.
Yep.
That's expected now. And I think that's great. All right, so let's talk about this football game. USF taking on Charlotte, a team they have boat raced twice. I kind of went through the numbers there. 34.5 points per game that they've scored victory margin-wise. What do you expect from this team, the USF and Charlotte, on Friday night?
Well, USF is a solid favorite, and I would expect if USF plays its game, it will win comfortably. Charlotte has a pretty good new coach named Tim Aubin, who comes from Ohio University, and I think he'll be a guy that'll build this program up, but not this week. It's a ways away. They've lost their starting quarterback, but I think Charlotte. A few years ago, they actually looked like a team that was on its way up and was in a bowl game, and then it sort of flatlined for a bit. So they're in a big town. I've got some resources there. They should be a decent football team, but it's going to take some building. But yeah, you're right. USF has boat raced them 2 years in a row. Last year they set a record for rushing in a game, 425 yards. So if USF plays its game, plays to its potential, it shouldn't have a problem winning this game. Now, moving forward, it's interesting because the American is off to a really good start as a league. Some really good, impressive wins. The fascinating thing is there are 3 teams remaining in the league who are undefeated: North Texas,
Really
Memphis, and Navy. Ironically, USF plays all 3, and all are on the road.
Yep.
So the thinking of a couple of weeks ago that oh my gosh, this college football playoff thing is going to happen. Well, maybe it could, but it ain't going to happen unless USF earns it. So it's going to be a bit of a rugged road to get there. But they're going to have to earn it, which is the way to do it. But it's a pretty good league, and we haven't even talked about Tulane, who may be the best team in the league. They lost to Ole Miss. So you got 4 or 5 really good teams in this league, it looks like, and maybe a couple others on the outside. So it'll be really fun once conference play gets going strong.
Yeah, I guess the silver lining to that is Joey, that we're going to kind of beat each other up. You don't have to go undefeated, I think, in this league. There's too many good teams. So you might have grace of losing one to get to the championship game, right? So this ain't going to be the one.
No, this is going to be the one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I think USF, I think Memphis, I think Tulane, I think those 3 for sure. Most people would agree that those are legitimate teams that could legitimately be in the title game. Navy, maybe. I mean, perhaps. Not sure about North Texas yet. They're off to a great start. But again, we're talking 4 or 5 teams, and that's a great conversation, and that's probably the way it is with most leagues. 4 or 5 teams realistically can win the title. So the American has a good balance to it, and off to some good non-conference results. So yeah, it's going to be fun the rest of the way, and USF is going to have some interesting games on its schedule for sure.
Joey Johnston joining us here, USF Bulls sideline reporter. Byron Brown is off to a really good start, and the numbers were just great last game. They got explosives all over the place. I think they set a record for touchdowns over 20 yards. What do you think about Byron coming back from the broken leg? Obviously they played very tough competition. They have 2 top 25 wins. What have you seen from him this year that you really like in his game?
I think he's off to a good start. I mean, we weren't sure what we were going to see early in the season with him coming back, but I think he's had a really fine 4-game run here. Had a long stretch of passes without an interception before that finally got snapped. He's making pretty good decisions. He's had some games where he's run the ball very impressively. Didn't happen the last game so much, but he has definitely shown he's a guy that can get you 80 to 100 yards if the game plan calls for that. He's got great weapons. I mean, he really does. I love the receivers. Keyshawn Singleton is a star. Chaz Nimrod, the transfer from Tennessee, is averaging 26 yards a catch. He looks like one of the country's best deep threats so far. They've got some decent tight ends. So Byron's got some tools to work with for sure. And I think, interestingly, with Friday night game this week, Friday night game next week, the country will get a chance to really lock in on Byram and see who he is. It's, people have heard about USF around the country, particularly when they beat Boise and Florida. And here's a chance to really watch this team, because sometimes on Saturday, as you know, it's so busy,
right?
It's hard to lock into a game or watch a team very carefully. But here's a chance for USF to get some really good exposure on ESPN for sure.
Yeah, I love that. It gives me a chance I'll be watching it up in watering hole somewhere in Tallahassee, getting ready for FSU Miami. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. They get the whole stage to themselves. And Jalen Shuler and Mac Harris have the 2 inside linebackers have been tremendous. And I think this Bulls defense is really kind of the secret sauce. Obviously, USF's going to score points this year, but this defense has a chance to be good. And when you're playing a Navy in Memphis and North Texas, I mean, you got that, I think, is the secret to them winning something big this year. Talk a little bit about this defense and what you've seen.
Yeah, no question, and that was the biggest difference that we saw at Boise and then at Florida right off the bat, was their ability to stop the other team, which we hadn't seen much of in the previous 2 years. And when you look at some of the really successful USF teams over the years, the defense was really, really the key to that. The George Selvies of the world and the Augie Sanchez's and all the guys they've had over the years. They certainly have had their share of good quarterbacks and playmakers, but man, the defense, particularly in the early parts of this program, the first 10 years or so, it was really about these really tough, grinding defensive guys that would hit you and hit you hard. And that was the USF identity, really. And now looks like they've finally gotten back to that. And that you're right, that is the thing that has to put them over the top. And if they are to win a championship, it's going to be defensive driven, I believe, even over their ability to score points.
Yeah, quick little note on that. The defense has produced 7 turnovers this year and a turnover in 12 straight games. That's tied for second longest streak in FBS, and that's a huge key when you're playing, especially on the road against these good teams. They're going to have to, and they've come through this road, this early season, relatively injury free. Right, we haven't had any huge injuries, especially up front. That's what I was really concerned about.
Yes,
against Miami and Florida, losing some offensive and defensive linemen where you're thin, obviously, it's hard to get depth. So we're in good shape up front.
Yeah, and here's the interesting note on that. As you mentioned, I do the sideline reporting, and part of that is to keep up with the injuries. Scott Wood is the trainer, the guy I usually go to for word on anybody that's banged up. I haven't talked to Scott once yet this year. I haven't had to talk to him once, which is I've never had that happen as long as I've done this. So so they've had Derek Bowman, who was hurt before the season, who is going to get back in the lineup this week. But other than that, really nothing to speak of. So they've been incredibly lucky on the health front for sure.
All right, so what kind of crowd are we expecting? Let's see if we can pump it up a little bit on this Friday night. Let's, if you don't have a high school that you're betrothed to, as I said, let's go out there and support the Bulls. Pretty easy to get tickets. What can we expect?
Yeah, let's hope it's in the, certainly the 30s minimum, maybe even pushing higher than that. As you mentioned, hopefully it'll be a good weather night, Friday night, chance to see some college football under the lights. So let's hope the crowd will respond to that. The previous game was Saturday at noon, which is a hard sell sometimes in the weather for
Yeah.
folks. So here's a chance to maybe get out and be comfortable and enjoy yourself on a Friday night. So let's hope for the best on the crowd. But certainly the way they've started the season, they're deserving of a crowd and attention.
Big time. They're 3-1, two top 25 wins. It's Friday night. Get out there and support these Bulls, and it's a great atmosphere. Raymond James Stadium, as you said, it's hard to get in Bucs games and very expensive. Lot easier for USF. Oh, we lost Joey. All right, we'll call it a day on that. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate you, partner. We'll take a quick break. Come back on the other side. Doug Waechter is going to join us, Rays analyst, and we'll talk about what's in. We'll kind of wrap up this season. Look ahead to the offseason, new ownership, all that good stuff. So Doug Waechter joining us next. Stay with us. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Thursday. Huge thanks to all of our great sponsors, including Don'tGoUncovered.com. It's open enrollment season, so if you are looking for some health insurance, get it now, and they can find out what kind of subsidy you might be able to get. They'll do all the work. You save all the money. Don'tGoUncovered.com is the website, so check them out. I've used them for 5 years. Very, very helpful. And have saved me thousands of dollars on my health insurance. So check it out at don'tgouncovered.com. That's the website. You can get the number there and give them a call. All right, let's talk some Rays baseball with the Rays analyst, former Rays pitcher, and overall tremendous dude. I guess now we just should introduce you as the dad of Doug Waechter, since he is now the sensational young pitcher. What's going on, Doug Waechter? How are you, partner?
I'm doing great, man. First of all, I love that shirt. They got a big game coming up this weekend, man. I'm actually heading up there. It'll be good times. I've never been to a Florida State-Miami game. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Noles. I can't wait for this environment. It sucks that, obviously game day backed out. I was looking forward to, getting out there and actually experiencing that for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But
they weren't
either
ever
way,
coming. They weren't.
You don't think so?
Even if we won, no. They hate FSU with a passion. And Kirk Herbstreit hates FSU with a passion. He's going to be in the house.
Yeah.
You better close the windows. That's all I'm saying. You better close the windows. This crowd is going to be all anywhere he goes. The poor dog might get abuse as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly, but whatever.
It'll be a good game, man. I just hope it stays close. I'm a little worried about Miami's offensive line, but I think we got a lot of talent on the FSU side, so hopefully it's a good game.
So explain to people why you're a Seminole now, because Caden is it's I don't know if you're signed yet, but he's committed to FSU, and of course he may go really high in the draft. So we don't know if they'll ever make it there.
Well, part of your introduction, obviously, my son, Caden, thanks for bringing that up. Love it.
Yeah.
Man, he had a heck of a summer, but last year he committed verbally. And at this point in time, all these kids can only commit verbally. They can't sign anything until signing day later this year. But Caden's a senior at Jesuit and committed to go play baseball at Florida State, man. They got a great program. He's super excited about it. They got the coaching staff is outstanding. Link Jarrett, Micah Posey is the pitching coach, and these guys, they know what they're doing, man. There's a lot of good coaching staffs out there in college, and we got to see a few of them on Caden's trips, and, nothing against them. They had some outstanding coaches and outstanding programs, but Florida State was the best fit for Caden, and he's really excited, man. And now it gives me and Kristen and our entire family a college to truly get behind and root for. So, dude, as soon as he committed to FSU last year, I have been going down the rabbit hole on all these, social media accounts, trying to figure out who Norvell's picking up in the transfer portal, all kinds of stuff, man. I went way over the top. I went from 0 to 100 in one day. So that's why I'm a Noles fan. But yeah, man, Caden had a good summer, so he's on track to potentially get drafted as well. So we'll see on that end.
I can tell you this, man. You've been in a lot of big atmospheres as a player and a broadcaster, and this is different. It's just, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I mean, personally, for me, you don't get any better than Florida State, Miami, or a big college rivalry game. And we get to tailgate all day. So I'll send you my location. Please come by our tailgate. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're 100%. We'll be there.
Oh, it's such a great social atmosphere, and then it just builds up to the game. And then, for FSU and night game in Miami, and I've been to all these 1 versus 3, 2 versus 4, and we screwed up last week and lost, or this had been a top 10 matchup, maybe even a top 5 matchup, but that's fine. The emotion is still going to be the same. And when Osceola comes out with the spear on Renegade and it's lit and it goes down, bro, there would just be chills, and then the game begins, and you've got some of the best talent in the nation, just so emotionally charged. It's just you got to experience it, man, and it's it's going to be nuts.
So it's so funny. We went last year to 2 games, and as Caden was going through the recruiting process, FSU, the baseball guys were very smart about the way they brought in the prospects. And you always go to a big football game, right? They try to get you in on a big football game weekend. And going into the season, they're like, oh, this is perfect. We'll have these recruits come to this game, and this game should be great. And by the time we got to the games, it was, how FSU season went last year. And so by halftime, they had these recruits out of there and over at Madison Social eating and getting into the environment and all. It was a good move. But this year, obviously the recruits are staying the whole game, and it's a lot different. And so that was the Doak Campbell that I got to know was just last year. I haven't been really involved in it before that. And so just watching on TV and being able to, kind of get behind all the emotion of it. And I know we lost last week, but honestly, it wasn't a terrible loss. It wasn't a good loss, but it wasn't a terrible loss where it'll knock you out of the playoffs. There's still a route to get to the playoffs. Yep. But it starts this weekend, and that environment's going to be rocking, man. I can't wait to get in there.
Okay, you know how to do this, right?
Yeah. It's not too tough. I think I can handle that one.
Okay, good. Right. I was hoping I get you. I get you to do a little tomahawk
man, 100%. There we go. Okay. I'll go Seminoles all day for you.
All right, good. All day. Good. All right. Let's talk some Rays baseball. Let's kind of wrap up this season. Obviously they swept at the end by Toronto. Maybe that was just a little nod to the Yankees or whatever you want to say. Sorry, boys. Thanks for the stadium, but we're going to take a few L's here at the end. But anyway, not that they would do that. 16 out of the last 22 is just not the finish that the team was hoping for. So many injuries this year, a lot of different things going on, maybe worn down by the heat at Steinbrenner Field. Who knows? A lot of road games at the end of the year. That was brutal. You had to set up the schedule that way. I think that was right, but it presented some challenges. So how do you wrap up this season?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster year. Going into the year, I think the chips were a little bit stacked against them, just knowing that you got to deal with the stadium issues. Who knows what the weather was going to be, which actually didn't turn out as bad as everybody anticipated. Yeah. But I think the hardest part of the season was no doubt, the amount of road games that you got to play in the second half. You stack road trips back to back and you stack them that close together and you got to deal with that the second half of the season when you're dealing with fatigue anyways. That's tough to handle. Now, all that being said, those are all excuses, right? I mean, and Kevin Cash and Neander are awesome about going out there and saying, hey, look, we take accountability. A lot of players took accountability and just flat out, look, this is a franchise now that expects to be in the playoffs every year, and they didn't get it done this year. And it's unfortunate, right? Going into the season, I didn't think we were as loaded with talent as we have been in the past.
Agreed.
So you got a lot of factors kind of going into it. There was still a way for us to get into the playoffs, though. I mean, for the first half of the season, at least a month and a half, I put us up with the best team in baseball. I mean, I was telling everybody, I was like, this is the most balanced our offense has ever been. And we were just crushing the ball. We were laying down bunts. We were putting pressure on the defense. We were pitching really well. Everything was clicking. And then all of a sudden, we go to Baltimore, we get smoked one Friday, and then everything turned. And we were one of the worst teams by record in baseball. Yeah. So, it was such a roller coaster of a year. I would say they obviously didn't make their goals and reach their goals. It was a frustrating year at times, based on the fact that, again, you expect these guys in the playoffs. I think it unfortunately, it was a season that goals were not met. And I think some changes will probably be made because they got to get back in the postseason. They got to find a way to do it.
What did we learn about some of the players this year that we can carry over? And I'll start with Chandler Simpson. I was, frankly, so pleasantly surprised that he was able to hit close to 300 at the major league level. I know he's always done it at the minor league level, but I said, it'd probably come down to be a 265 hitter. What a pleasant surprise. And I think, defensively, the fact that he's always been an infielder and now moved to an outfielder and had to learn all the different stadiums and everything, I think it got incrementally better. And I think he's a huge piece. And I just love the speed and the leadoff ability moving forward for this kid. Let's talk a little bit about him.
You say pleasantly surprised. I think he was one of the best surprises this year. And, of course, everybody knew his speed. And everybody's like, okay, he's got speed. We anticipate this dude running a lot of bags and, going out there and being a threat on the bases. But is he going to be able to get on base consistently? What's he look like in the box? And the fact that he has hit at every level, and now he's also proved as a rookie that his game can play in the major league level and hit at the major league level was astounding to me.
Me too.
Nobody talked about the reason why I didn't anticipate that is because nobody talked about his hit tool. Everybody just talked about his speed because his speed is so glaring, right? He's the fastest guy in Major League Baseball, right? He had 100 bases stolen last year in the minor leagues. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it because they have less games than major leagues. So he did it in less games and he stole 100 bags. So it's incredible to think about what he can do with his speed. But now you got to start focusing on the fact that this dude can hit and he's a threat at the top of the lineup. And when he is in the lineup, our team is better. And Cash, even when they had to send him down, which was more of a numbers thing anyways at the time, but even when they had to send him down, Cash was up front. And he's like, look, this guy's going to help us win. And we need to get him in the ballgame. Now, his defense, of course, he needs to make improvement. Just like every rookie, there's ways to improve. There's things to improve on in your game. And he's going to focus on defensively, being a little bit, better route runner and just better overall. That's all. Just get more consistent out there. But the tools are absolutely there. And, the hit tool is one of those things that when you see that hit tool come across, you're like, man, this guy's a real player. And he can be a player for a while because – his game, he doesn't have to hit the ball out of the park to be effective. Right. And he's so great at knowing what his game is and staying inside of that game. He's not one of those guys who comes up as a gap-to-gap hitter and now all of a sudden wants to go launch angle and hit 30 bombs, but hit also 200, right? He's not that guy. What he is he's putting the ball in play, put pressure on the defense. That's what his game is. And as a former pitcher, I hated pitching against guys like him and hated to get pitching against guys like Jake Mangum. Honest to God, I would have faced a guy like, this is kind of an extreme, Aaron Judge, but like a power hitter, maybe not Aaron Judge, but like a power hitter, right? A guy that goes out there and drops 30 to 40 every year, but he'll get his strikeouts. Because I know as a pitcher, I'm like, all right, well, if I effectively drop this slider on the outside corner, I'll get him out. With Simpson, he just goes up there and just spoils pitches. And now all of a sudden you throw 9 pitches to this guy and you're just like, I'm just going to pipe one. I'm so tired of seeing this guy in the box. I'm going to pipe one and see what happens.
And he just nubs it into left field with about 65 mile an hour exit velocity. And he's on first. Now he's a pain in the ass on first. Now I got to deal with him there. Right. Yeah. I love his game. And I think as a table setter, he can be fantastic. Carson Williams, clearly a great defensive player. And he's got pop, but I'm still really concerned about the strikeouts. Should I be? Can he get that out of his game?
To me, we were talking about Chandler, and there's some surprises, pleasant surprises with Chandler because we didn't hear enough about certain tools. I think with Carson, he's been such a polarizing prospect that we have heard a lot more about his tools, and we knew what to expect when he came up. And he was struggling with swing and miss in AAA. And so if you're struggling against AAA pitchers with strikeouts, it's not going to get better when you get to the big leagues. I mean, it's one of those things that we want. I think it was more about getting him a taste of the big leagues, right? Getting him up here, getting him those reps so that by spring training next year, he doesn't feel like an absolute rookie who doesn't know what he's doing. He can go in there and be like, all right, I got some home runs under my belt. I got some, really nice plays under my belt. I know what I'm doing up here. I haven't seen all these pitchers. I haven't been to all these stadiums. There's still a learning curve, but at least I got my foot in the door. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's hard to go into spring training without any major league experience and make the club and be effective. Like, it's a really good thing that they got Carson Williams up last year, so he has that experience. Now, he does have to improve on swing and miss. He's got to get a higher contact rate. That's one of the holes in his game, and that's one of the things they're going to focus on for sure. Now, how do you do that? I don't know. I'm not a hitting guy. I'm assuming, do you look at the swing mechanics? Do you look at, the way his approach is? Do you change the approach? Like, do you change all of it? I don't know. I know the tools are there, and they're very high on his hit tool. They love the power, what he can do with the power. But they have said it from the beginning that he has to reduce some of that swing and miss, and how they're going to go about that, I don't know. But I thought Chandler, when he came up, it was pretty much as advertised.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching the Big O show, and I know you love the Big O.
Yes. He is by the way, he's one of my favorite dudes ever, man.
Well, you got to come on the show.
That you guys absolutely love that you guys are doing that. And man, he is one of the best.
Well, he says it's all for Carson. It's all about organizing that strike zone. Not recognizing what to swing at and what not to swing at. And that's something you can improve with reps, and good hitting coaches will help you, and they can do a lot of different things. So having the raw tools is the most important thing. Now it's just a matter of teaching and getting it all organized, learning the pitchers, working on your craft. And if he's willing to work on it, and my sense is he's one of those guys that really wants to be great, then he's got a shot to do that. So last question about the young guys. Ian Seymour, I thought, was another tremendous surprise. And I just love his game, and I think it can play. Even though he's not overpowering, he seems to be a pretty smart dude, and he seems to know what he does well and stick with it. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think he's an A+ makeup guy. I think he's a bulldog on the mound. The fact that he throws 90 to 92, he's not scared of anybody and goes right at you. And I absolutely love that mentality. I can see, the mental side's already there for him, which a lot of guys, it's the opposite. They got the tools, but they can't put together, the way to attack hitters and throwing big pitches and big counts. Like for Seymour, he's already got that side of it. Now, does his stuff play at the major league level? And for me, it does, right? He's not going to overpower you, but he can fit into a role somewhere in that rotation. He's not going to be your number one, but he's a strike thrower who can eat up innings, and he can neutralize right-handers and left-handers based on that changeup and his breaking ball. And so the way he sets up hitters, I like him in the rotation. I really like him in the 4 or 5 slot in that rotation, just based off of, what we saw this past year. Now, again, he's not going to go out there and probably get you 7, 8 innings. He's not that type of pitcher, but he can definitely fill a role for you. And for the Rays, who didn't start the year with a left-hander in the rotation, I think it's probably a good thing, depending on free agency, what they want to do and all the stuff going on with the franchise and, everything that they have on their plate. I don't know if they're going to identify a left-handed starter, and I don't know if they have one in AAA that they can go to right off the bat that they would trust. So I think Ian Seymour, for me, going into spring training, he should be in the rotation. I really liked what I saw. And again, starts with makeup with that kid, but he does have good enough stuff to be in the major league rotation for me.
All right, last question as we move forward. The new ownership group is coming in. We've heard from them early on. We've got some information that, that they want to keep. Well, Neander's staying on, and that's great. Baseball ops. And he, even in his press conference, even though he didn't want to speak for the new group, I could tell just in the body language alone, this guy is excited about what's about to happen. And I, from what I've heard from this group, they want to increase the payroll. It's not going to be dramatic, but if they want to get to average payroll by the time they get to the new stadium, and then maybe even more, depending on how the public supports. We got to do our job as well to support this new group, and that means at Tropicana Field for the next 3 or 4 years, and then as we move into hopefully this new stadium in Tampa. That said, how close is this team, and what do they need to add in the offseason? I think, to me, it starts with a power hitting outfielder. Kyle Tucker would be nice. And nice for the community.
I don't know if anybody'd say no to that. That's a big left-handed bat that, yes, they have the ability. I know where you're going with it, and I agree. Like, look, I would love – there's a couple names already on the market, right? And we don't know who's going to opt out yet. We don't know. There's a lot of things that still have to shake out in the free agent market. The 2 Tampa names. My gosh, you got Pete Alonso, Kyle Tucker. You got these 2 guys that are right out there, and you're like, man, I would love to see those bats in our lineup. That'd be huge, right? You insert some power, You protect Junior Caminero in the lineup. You just, there's so much to do with it. But that being said, I mean, look, I think everybody's excited for what's coming with the Rays, for what we've heard about the new ownership group. They're all saying the right things. And as you know, obviously I'm biased toward this franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in St. Pete, pitched for them, doing broadcasts for them. Like, this is a big part of my life, and we just love the team. And so it's exciting to hear a group coming in that is saying all the right stuff, right? And for the fan base, I think there's a lot of excitement all around. That said, they're about to purchase a team. They're acquiring a major league team. They're figuring out a stadium, which I'm sure is number one priority.
Yep.
There's a lot on their plate right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, to realistically say that they're going to go out there and land a huge guy off the market.
Yeah.
I don't really want to. I don't want to put my hope in that. You know what I would love to see is honestly some communication with Junior Caminero and see if you can lock him up. I mean, you're going to want this guy for a while, so it would be awesome, and I'm sure the communication is already going on behind closed doors, but to lock him up and make sure that he knows that he's secure here. And he doesn't have to worry about that side of things. He can just go out and play baseball, and also shows the community, hey, look, we're ready to invest, in our own guys right now. But, all that being said, again, this new group coming in, there's a lot on their plate, especially right off the bat. And I'm sure that stadium issue is number one on what they got to figure out. So it'll be interesting how the free agent market plays out. I don't know if they're going to be very active or not. If they're not very active, there are some holes in this lineup. There's no doubt. I mean, you go in with the same exact roster as we had last year, then at that point, at that point, you're just hoping that injuries don't happen, right? You're hoping that you got guys healthy. You're hoping McClanahan's ready and right back in there. If that's the case, then that rotation's totally different, right?
Right.
You're also hoping for certain guys to kind of rekindle years in the past. Josh Lowe, right? Josh Lowe has showed us in the past that he is a very good major league player. Now, this past year, it probably wasn't up to his standard, what he wanted. So, guys like that in the roster, it just depends if they can get back to that form where they were very, very productive, for the team.
All right, Doug, great stuff. And I can't wait to see you and me at the FSU tailgate party. Having a couple pops, doing the Seminole chop.
Yeah, buddy.
Right,
send me that location, man.
I will indeed. When you going up?
Works. I'm actually leaving tomorrow. And by the way, dude, I don't know what hotel or your lodging, all that. You got to tell me some secrets because those hotel rates are unbelievable.
Longtime friends. I have my dearest dear friends, Greg and Shelly Nelson, who have a beautiful home right on a lake in the Killearn area, and price is right. Yeah. The people are great. The food's better.
I do not have longtime friends in Tallahassee.
Well, you know what? We need to introduce you to some. That's the tailgate party you're going to be coming to. So make friends and impress people, and they may invite you to their house. So that's kind of how how cheap I am, bro. I ain't paid $500 a night for the Motel 6. That ain't freaking happening. So
that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm paying $500 a night for 2 nights in some hotel that I don't even know if it's safe, dude. I'm going up there. I'm like, I don't even know if I got to lock my car. This is a scary spot. I'm going in and out, and then I'm going to be hanging out at Doak Campbell the rest of the time.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll get you hooked up, partner. We'll get you hooked up. All right.
Sounds
Thank
good,
you,
buddy.
Doug. Appreciate it. The great Doug Waechter right there. Seminoles best. William, take another quick break. When we come back, Josh Queipo is going to join us from the Pewter Report for his weekly film study on the Buccaneers. Really, really good stuff. We taped it yesterday, so stick around for that. We're brought to you by the great folks at Cafe Paradiso. Go see my man Paolo over there, Paolo Tini. This weekend, if you're looking for some great Italian food, you got a special occasion, go to Open Table, get that reservation, and come enjoy some of the best veal, lasagna, pasta, the branzino. The seafood is fantastic. They've been doing this for over 30 years. Great chef, great service, just a wonderful meal and atmosphere at Paradiso Tampa. And you know what? You never know who you're going to see. One of our listeners went in there the other day, and who was in there? Espo. Espo loves him so. Cafe Paradiso. You will as well. Go to Cafe Paradiso and have a great meal. Back at 3. Stay with us. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park. So free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. The Gold and Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Gold and Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Gold and Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Gold and Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. By Genesis of Tampa. They will be hosting all those USF players on Saturday for their grand reopening. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the big event. You can go by and get some great food. They'll have free food, drinks. You watch football on Saturday, and you can test drive one of those great Genesis cars as well. GenesisofTampa.com is where you go look up all the great stuff there. All right, so yesterday, Timmy, I was over there at the Buccaneers, and Baker's always very playful in his press conferences. We always get a couple of really good quips out of him. If you set it up right, ask him a kind of a fun question, we'll get something really fun out of him.
Yeah, just don't be a dumbass and ask stupid questions.
So evidently, some people think I asked a really stupid question yesterday. And I was trying to have some fun with him, and I was like, because he was talking about his relationship with Sam Darnold. Remember, they were in the same quarterback room at the Carolina Panthers back in 2022 with that debacle, and the Carolina Panthers are still looking for a quarterback. And obviously, my quip was, hey, do you guys reminisce about those great times in Carolina? And he gave me a great deadpan answer. He said, "What? The great what?" I'm like, the old good old times in Carolina. Acknowledging, tongue in cheek, that place was a disaster, and clearly they effed up by losing both of you guys who were really good quarterbacks. And some people took it as I was serious. And maybe if you read the transcript, which is all a lot of people do these days, it does sound like a stupid question.
Right.
But in context, it was just having a little fun with Baker, and he gave me a great little deadpan answer. I thought it was funny, but I guess a lot of people didn't, and it made kind of national news. So,
dumbass
question.
People need to lighten up, man.
I know, right? It's like just playing along.
But Baker loves that stuff, dude. He loves to engage, and he loves to have fun. And it's just stupid people getting upset over stupid stuff.
We were gonna play the audio, but I
couldn't pull the audio. I tried.
It's just him. We're just having fun with it, So
and he never cracks.
Calm down, people.
He is dead faced the entire time until the very end. He kind of grins, like he's just being stupid.
As was I.
Yeah,
we can't be, all the time. Oh, But the weird thing is, he stood up there for about 30 seconds and nobody would ask a question because there's typically people that are beat writers that I like to defer to sometimes and let them ask the first question, just being polite, but nobody would ask a question. So anyway, so yesterday we had a chance to talk with Josh Queipo. We record these every Wednesday night after he breaks down all the film. Great reporter at Pewter Report. You can find all of his work there as he breaks it all down. So we chat with him about the previous game and look ahead to the game coming up. So here's our film session with Josh Queipo. All right, welcome in to another edition of Josh Queipo Breaks Down the Film from the Pewter Report. We love this part. Josh, thank you so much. How much time do you spend breaking down the tape? It's a labor of love for you, isn't it? You're a sicko like me. You just love that all 22.
If I have spare time, I'm usually on it. So that's really what it is. Like late at night after the kids have gone to bed, I'll be laying on the couch and I have something for white noise in the background. So whether if it's Thursday night, obviously Thursday Night Football, or some old TV show that I'm watching on one of the streaming platforms, but I've got my laptop on me and that's got most of my attention. So
yeah, we're the same. All right, let's look back at the Eagles for a little bit. A lot of interesting things to break down, and let's start with Baker Mayfield. Obviously, there was a glaring error down by the goal line. That he knows better than anybody. You can't make that play on first down, especially. He throws the pick, takes points off the board in the fourth quarter. In an opportunity they really had, they were dominating that second half, and they had a really good chance to win this game if they score there. But alas, they did not. What did you think of Baker's that play and Baker's overall play?
Yeah, with that play in particular, it's a crying shame because if Charlie Heck doesn't lose immediately, it's a touchdown. Because Godwin, that was actually a post into the end zone, and he just kept rolling with it at the back. And following Baker on the scramble, but the post was open, and Baker just needed 2.2 seconds to get the ball out, and Heck couldn't give him 2. Yeah, it literally just get in the way. So that one was unfortunate. It was watching it live. I thought Baker made a huge mistake when I went back to the all 22. The ball got tipped, which is what caused it to not have that much on it. I didn't see the tip live, and I just thought the way he was running, he couldn't get enough on it to get it through that window. After seeing the tip, I'm much less critical of him on that throw. Godwin was open. He's got that kind of arm, kind of a 50-50 there. Yes, maybe you err on that side of caution, but That's not Baker's style, and he's won a lot without doing that. So I'm not going to fault him for that one. I will say from a process standpoint, probably his worst game of this season, and that's a high bar because he's played so well over the course of this season. And really what it came down to was the Bucs ran a lot of 3x1s and a couple of 4x1s with Emeka basically taking Mike Evans' role as the X on the single side. And if that's Mike over there and he keeps getting these one-on-one looks, even if it is Quignon, I totally get keep going to that. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. That makes a ton of sense.
Bigger body, bigger catch radius.
Yeah. Baker and Grizzard seemed to like that matchup, at least in terms of game planning, because Baker locked in on that so much. He didn't even want to look at the concept side, the 3 side or the 4 side. He liked that one-on-one and he kept trying to go to it. The problem was Quignon Mitchell was locking that side down. Yeah. Time after time, the one that stands out in my mind the most is the Bucs ran quads to Baker's left. Emeka, it was a 3rd and 3, and Emeka runs a whip route. And normally you would expect him to get some separation off that pivot. Quignon didn't give him an inch. And so he makes a great grab, but can't get any yards after the catch. It's a 1-yard gain, 4th down, they punt.
Yeah, it was early in the game, yeah.
Yeah, and if Baker had gone to the quad side, 2 out of the 4 routes were wide open. Rashad to the flat, and then I want to say it was Sterling Shepard who was open as well. Both of those could have picked up the first down and more. So it's unfortunate. Sometimes you say we like this matchup and you lose the matchup. Yeah. But like I said, I think that this was probably his worst game from a process standpoint. It wasn't a terrible game for Baker, which shows a lot of progress over past years where he was so volatile, the lows could be really low. But overall, I think that the concepts are working. He's just got to find them better.
Baker did say initially in the press conference, said the ball slipped and then it got tipped. And then I think he heard him say it slipped. And he's like, I shouldn't even be saying that but it did. And I think that happens, especially on a hot day like that. It's very difficult to grip the ball. And when you don't have a good grip and a tight window throw, you're going to have issues and the ball gets tipped. And anyway, but a bad decision anyway. And that on first down, you don't need to make that tight window throw in the red zone. He knows that. We know that. Yep. But that's part of just Baker, and you take the good with the bad. And to the Ibuka thing, I asked Rebecca about that today. About, did you learn a little something in terms of the physicality in the NFL? And, the Eagles clearly were going to hold and grab and be physical until the refs told them they couldn't. And the refs never did. And you were mentioning in the pre-show that they scouted this crew, and this crew does not call that they let them play. They let them play.
Yeah, and it's good scouting by their scouting department, a good game plan put together by the offensive staff. And I think you saw the Bucs doing something similar, not nearly as egregious, but the Bucs were playing very tight. They were playing very physical.
Second half,
their
figured it out.
The Bucs secondary was phenomenal in this game. Yeah. And so that's just good scouting. And the Eagles took it to the nth degree. It seemed like they had a game plan of, we're going to keep bullying until somebody tells us we have to stop through the throw of a flag. And if you're not going to get that, then why stop? Because it's going to make life harder on the opposition. Ibuka and Godwin were targeted combined 20 times. They had a 35% catch rate. They only hauled in 7 of those passes. Yeah, some of them were just uncharacteristic drops for the 2 of them, but a lot of it was really, really mugged up coverage by the Eagles.
And a couple of them, I'd say at least 4 of them, they got there early, half a count early, took the arms away. And, you would want that call, but, kudos to the Eagles for scouting that out and starting the game that way. And I think when you look at this game, it was obviously a tale of 2 halves. The Eagles rolled up 200 yards of offense in the first half, kind of did what they wanted to do. In the second half, they were shut down, whether they dialed it back or whether it was just great Bucs defense. But 4 possessions of 0 yards or less, 6 possessions of 8 yards or less, and if you count the safety at the end, they have negative yardage in the second half. I mean,
the Bucs defense, they put on a clinic. I don't think the Eagles let the foot off the gas. I think that's a misnomer there. Plenty of those drives, they came out throwing the ball. The Bucs just made some really great adjustments. Two specific ones. First half, they blitzed a lot, which is typically how you beat Jalen Hurts, especially a Todd Bowles defense. He was fantastic against the blitz. He had the answers this time. You tip your cap to somebody who finally figured out how to overcome their kryptonite. Credit to Todd Bowles. Second half, Hurts threw the ball 8 times. 7 of those were 4-man rushes.
Yeah.
So dialed the blitz way back, went into more of a coverage mode. Vea picked up 2 sacks. They were both coverage sacks because the coverage was so great with the extra assets out in the field. So that was something that was really present, is Bowles' adjustment to create that second half. And then it was just guys just learning stuff. The Eagles tried a option zone read twice with Jalen Hurts. The first time he got off, I want to say a 9-yard gain, just faked the handoff to Saquon, kept the ball, had an easy alley. Next drive, they tried it on 2nd and 10, and Tyke triggered so hard it was a 2-yard gain. That's good defense. That's the coordinator, or in this case, the head coach, Todd Bowles, making the right adjustments, and then the players clocking things and reacting accordingly later on in the game.
Would you say that maybe the Bucs were too slow to adjust in the first half? There weren't that many possessions.
Yeah.
You got to give your game plan a chance to work. And in other words, did it take too long for Bowles to figure out, you know what? Jalen's finally figured out our blitz package, and he's getting it out to Saquon, and he's getting the ball out quick, and they're beating us to the punch.
Not really, because most of their best gains were him just breaking containment.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there was the 28-yard scramble, the 20-yarder.
Was another loop that sent.
Yep. Oh man, that was so close. So they ran a stunt and twist with Reddick and Vea. Reddick does this awesome job. He comes into the lane, and Philly was ready for it, and Saquon was right there, and he spun off of Saquon's punch, and he was right there on Hurts. And the only unfortunate part of that is if Vea had just held the edge, Reddick would have brought him down.
Yeah.
But Vea started to push the pocket from the outside and gave Hurts the lane to leak out the back, or else that would have been a sack. But I mean, the Eagles only had 3 plays of 20 yards or more. One was that 28-yarder. Mm-hmm. One was the 20-yarder to Devonta Smith, which was, again, him creating outside the pocket. It was late. It was a second reaction play. And then I think the third one was in structure. It was like a 26-yarder or something like that. So, and that one was to Goddard, if I remember correctly. So I think that the Bucs planned in the first half. I mean, those blitzes, it's not like they weren't working and they weren't getting to Hurts. He was just finding a way to escape. They've got to work on the pocket containment. That has been one of the biggest issues, probably the biggest issue with this defense consistently to start this season, is pocket containment.
I mean, in the end, the Bucs kind of outplayed the Eagles. They 379 yards to 200, but you get 2 big turnovers and a block punt for a touchdown. I mean, you block a kick for a touchdown, that's a 90% winning chance in the NFL. And those are just mistakes that are too hard to come back from against a good team. And in the end, the fourth quarter, they had 2 opportunities to tie the game or win it. And, you know, credit the Eagles defense, where they came up with especially on that last drive, a couple of big sacks. And that goes back to offensive line, which moves us forward to this game against the Seattle Seahawks. And they certainly are perusing the tape and seeing exactly what the Eagles did to the right side of the Buccaneers line. And it's not like Luke Gedicke's coming back this week. And obviously Cody Mauch ain't walking through that door either. So they got to figure it out. They got to figure out what's going on that right side, or they're going to struggle. What do you see there, and how do they fix it?
Yeah, there were 2 major issues this past game. Probably the biggest issue, surprisingly, people expect me to say Charlie Heck. He was a close second. Yeah. But the biggest issue they had was they struggled to pick up inside loopers off of stunts and twists and layered rushers. So that's like linebackers who don't immediately trigger down right as the snap happens. They wait a beat. They let the offensive line start to declare who they're going to block, and then they come. And almost all of that falls on the shoulders of Graham Barton, who switched back to center this past week. It was one of his worst games of his career, if I'm being completely honest, specifically because he struggled to pick those up. That's on him. He's the guy calling out the protections. He's got to see those coming. He's got to react quicker to those and give Baker a little extra time, because heat right up the middle is the worst heat that a quarterback can take. So that was the biggest issue. Charlie Heck was a close second. PFF charged him with 8 pressures allowed, and I think they were being generous. Yeah. He's allowing guys to go through his chest. He's giving a soft edge, so guys are cornering on him off the backside. And then when he tries to overset, he's giving up the inside shoulder. He's being beat every way you can be beat. That's not good.
The great Pete Fairbanks would say it wasn't a specific suck. It was an all-encompassing suck.
I love Fairbanks.
Still the greatest quote of all. I use that quote all the time.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, you and I talked about this over the summer, and I sat there and said, there's no way Ben Chukwuma is going to be ready to play this year. I'm at the point where he definitely has a higher ceiling than Heck. I'm not unconvinced the floor is any worse.
Right.
I hope that that's a conversation that's happening in that building, because there's nothing on the tape that tells me Heck's going to get better. No. And that's the concerning thing.
And he had a big ice pack on his right knee, and we've heard that he's struggling a little bit. So, you know, it's an average or below average tackle that's hurt.
Yep. So, it's not good. So then it comes down to, you mentioned, how does this play in Seattle? Seattle's got a really good front. Yep. I mean, they've got some really good pass rushers, Leonard Williams, Boye Mafe. There was one other I'm forgetting off the top of my head. And the thing is with McDonald's defense, he's like at the vanguard of running sim pressures. So there are a lot of guys coming from strange angles. So that goes back to Barton. He's going to have to be able to pick those up. And they are absolutely going to pick on Heck. So for all the fans who are upset that K-Dotton doesn't have better statistical production, you better hope that stays the same, because he's going to have to stay in. Him and Payne Durham have been blocking their asses off, trying to help this offensive line as best as they can. They've been doing a pretty solid job of it as well. But it's going to require those type of assets. I think one small silver lining coming from Bucky Irving potentially being out of this game is you're going to see more Rachaad White, which will give more protection to Baker. Because while Bucky may have gotten marginally better as a pass protector this year, he's still below average at it. He's just a small dude. It's hard for him to pick those up. Yeah. Whereas Rachaad White is elite in that particular area of the game, and they're going to need him to give Baker some extra time to make some plays down the field.
You know, I talked to Graham Barton after the game, and to his credit, as he always does, he took it. He said, you know, we got to really get better at passing it off. He said, I just didn't do that well, didn't handle it well. And to be honest, when you're working with a different guy every week, and that was the first time they'd worked together with Haggard and Heck, and it was his first time back to center after playing left tackle. Nobody in this league is playing left tackle and moving back to center. Nobody. It's extremely difficult to do. And we got to remember, this is only his second year playing center. So he's not going to make any excuses. He knows he needs to get better, but it also, you know, that is also it's not a physical thing as much as it is a chemistry thing. You know, it's learning how to play together when you're passing those off. And, you know, and it's also easier when the other two guys are better players, when their original thump is more, you know, forceful. It throws the defense off, but these guys were just running wild, and it's
the silver lining there is there's nothing physical with Graham Barton. He got moved back a couple times against some elite defensive tackles. That's going to happen. You're going to lose a couple reps that way, but they were slow losses. He rarely got walked, and so all of the things that he struggled with are mental and therefore correctable. Which is the silver lining there. Still has an incredibly high ceiling as he continues to learn that position.
Yeah. Josh Queipo from the Pewter Report joining us here as we're breaking it all down, looking ahead to the game against the Seahawks, which, by the way, will be at its regular time, appointed time, 4:00. Bucky was on crutches today or on Wednesday and had a boot on. So I don't think he plays this week. They want to keep him in play. But to your point, you know, going out there on the turf, airplane ride, they'd probably do much better just to keep him here and they got a lot of confidence in Rachaad White. They got a lot of confidence in Josh Williams. They talked about him today, and of course,
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker is, he's phenomenal. So they'll be fine there. I'm more worried about the offensive line against that Seattle defensive front, and frankly, I think this is going to be another low-scoring game. And I think the Bucs, if they can clean up their special teams, let Chase hit, 5 to 6, 50-yard to 65-yard kicks. That's fine. Let him do his thing. They can get by with a win. But this defense is going to have to play a lot like they did in the second half. And I think they can. I think Seattle's offense is okay. I don't think Darnold, we saw late in the season last year, Darnold was not great against great competition. So I think there's an opportunity for this defense to be really, really good. You got to stop Kenneth Walker, stop the run. The Bucs have been good at that. So I think if they're going to win this game, it's going to be a close game, but you got to minimize turnovers, no block kicks, obviously. But I think they can win it. They're underdogs, 3.5-point underdogs, but I think they can win this game.
Yeah, they've got a puncher's chance. The Seattle offense has looked really good this year. They're one of the tops in explosive plays. What's really interesting is how these two teams match up on that side of the ball, because we don't know if Jamel Dean's going to be available for this game. We don't know if Ben Morrison's going to be available for this game. Both of them took soft tissue-ish injuries, and both of them are getting MRIs. And I haven't checked in the last couple of hours, but as of like 3 o'clock today, we hadn't heard anything about their availability. And I think Todd Bowles had mentioned, what was it, yesterday or today, if there had been they did a walkthrough because more guys couldn't practice than could practice.
Right, so exactly.
If those two can't go, now you're looking at, I think probably the best option for the Bucs is Jacob Parrish goes to outside corner, at least in base. Maybe he switches back to the nickel in when they go to nickel defense. Well, Seattle runs 12 personnel at the highest rate in the NFL. So that means it's kind of playing to the betterment of the Bucs, considering their injuries. They won't have to be in nickel quite as much. Parrish can just play on the outside.
Yeah.
And so that's a really interesting wrinkle right there. And they're going to have to beat the play action, which is what Seattle's been doing really well with. And Jackson Smith-Njigba has turned into one of the best receivers in the NFL. So they're going to have to shut him down. But Zion and Parrish are probably qualified to do that. So that'll be a really interesting thing. And then Seattle does love to run the ball, and the Bucs love to stop the run. So you are talking about the old adage of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. We're going to see that.
Yeah.
You mentioned the turnovers, and that's the one that I'll come back to. The special teams is really important, but also Baker Mayfield is I think he leads the league in turnover worthy plays. He's had a ton of luck on that through the first 4 games. Seattle secondary, they're ball hawks. You got Devon Witherspoon and you got Reek Woolen. Those two guys can catch, and they will make you pay if you make a bad decision. So Baker's going to have to be on his P's and Q's, because that could be the difference in the game.
Health is going to be a big part of this. I think if the Bucs corners are healthy, I think they got a good shot to win this game. The Seattle, by the way, comes in 3-1. They lost to San Francisco week 1, 17-13. That was the best defense that they faced, I think. They beat Pittsburgh 31-17, beat the Saints 44-13, and then eked out one over Arizona 23-20 on Thursday. So they're going to have an extra few days to prepare for this one as well. So it ain't going to be easy, but I think it'll be. It really depends on the Bucs' health to me. How many of these guys can they get healthy, especially on the defensive side, and play a slobber knocker and get out of there with a 17-13 win? I'll take that all day long. What are you predicting?
I hadn't gotten to my predictions yet. I think they lose this one 20-17.
I think, it could go either way there, but we shall see. And just in general, as I said on my show today, listen, Bucs fans, the sky is not falling. I think everything that's happening to the Bucs right here has 100% to do with their health. Now, if they continue to get injuries at this rate, no, the season will be trash. You can't sustain at this rate. But if they can, kind of quiet the injuries a little bit, get these corners back, Get Mike Evans back, obviously. Get Bucky back. Get J-Mac back. Get Gedeke back is huge. Getting Gedeke back will be huge. And then kind of solidify that right guard spot. And then at the end, also, the schedule gets much more manageable.
Yeah.
Much more manageable.
I liken it to, JP, did you ever watch the movie Beer Fest?
I think I did, yeah.
So you get to the end of the movie and they're in the beer competition and it looks like they're about to be knocked out because they're just absolutely wasted and they have to go up against the booth.
I remember now, yes.
And there's this iconic line where they go, "We're not that drunk." And the whole crowd starts chanting it. And that's really what I liken it to, because this entire first 4 games, they've had to basically play with one hand tied behind their back with all of these injuries. And to your point, I mean, they just went up against the Super Bowl champions, had a fighters. I mean, fluke plays, 2 fluke plays really were the difference in that game. And they did it all without key pieces. So I love the way you put that. You look forward, there's nobody they should be scared of if they've got 90% of their healthy roster, right? Yeah. And most of these guys are coming back, right? Kalijah's one that went on IR. Preseason, you've got a couple of really exciting rookies in JJ Roberts and David Walker, but Elijah's, him and Malk are the only 2, Kalijah and Malk are the only 2 who you're not counting on coming back.
Right.
If you get back to where those are the only 2 you're missing, that's a really good team that can stand toe-to-toe with everyone.
And like I said, those last 6 games, you should be favored in every single one of them, and you start to get healthy, and you can sail into the playoffs on a really good run and as a division winner. So banking these 3 games early was huge. That was huge. And now you're going to go through a little bit of a rough patch here in the next few weeks, but that's fine. It's a long season. It's a marathon. And then get healthy. And then, get the sails full and take it all the way. And so I think even if they lose this week, there's no panic button that needs to be pushed unless they get another rash of injuries. But I think, and if they can steal this one, boy, they're really in
the driver's seat. Yep.
All right, Josh, great stuff, my friend. We look forward to all your reports on the Pewter Report. I really appreciate you taking the time. We'll chat with you next week.
Sounds good, JP. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, thank you. There, a couple of quick updates here, if we may, from Greg Allman at practice today. Not practicing Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, not seen. Jamel Dean, Benjamin Morrison, Christian Izzian, not practicing. But practicing today, Mayfield, Wirfs, David, Godwin, Zion McCollum, Hassan Reddick was out there. That's good. Tyke Smith, Logan Hall, Greg Gaines. That's good. And Charlie Heck and Sterling Shepard. So we'll see who lines up on Sunday. A couple other notes. Abuka named the Offensive Rookie of the Month on his way to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hope you bet on that.
Yep.
The Bolts will be back in action tonight. I'll be making my preseason debut on Jumbotron.
Amalie Arena, JP. Amalie Arena.
Benchmark International Arena.
Don't call it the bench. Don't call it the mark.
Nope. And we got 3 do-or-die games in baseball today. And Yankees, Red Sox is one of them. So we'll see if Aaron Boone wakes up and puts the lefties in the lineup. We shall see. Going to be fun. All right. Anything else you'd like to add, my friend?
Go baseball playoffs.
All right.
It is baseball playoffs time, JP. That is all I care about right now.
Timmy's getting drunk today and watching baseball.
Right here in the studio.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. We will see you then.